map it out. All right, I want to go first. I'm not even going to offer you the option. I'm going first.
It's okay. We're used to it at this point.
All right. I foresee this Clemson defense causing some issues at times in this football game. I do think they're really talented. I also think they're at the point now where they're going to force so many one-on-ones that eventually they're going to win some of theirs. All right. I don't think you're going to clean sweep this football team in terms of execution. I think they're going to force your hands at times. And not only, I don't think they're going to make you maybe turn the ball over, but I do think they're going to be big things like sacks. I do think they're going to be pivotal third down incompletions. I think they're going to be some moments of indecisiveness from the offense for Georgia. I think this type of brand of defense from Clemson causes some of this, like, popping of the clutch, if you will, type of offense where it looks like the machine is doing this, where at times it looks like they're great and at times it looks sluggish. Think South Carolina last year. That's the type of defensive game plan that, ultimately can do things in terms of causing disruption and causing some constipation, as we like to call it on this channel. But ultimately, I don't think Clemson can run with this football team. I think Georgia on the offensive side of the football is way too fast and way too vertically explosive and have the ability to do such. And by the way, you're going to be a man-to-man football team. Guess what? There is no man-to-man coverage and perfect defense for a perfectly thrown football. And we have seen time after time, Carson Beck, particularly in the green zone, 35 and in, we have seen this football player be able to put it wherever he wants to. I think Bobo dials up some of those vertical scissors concepts that we drew up on the board just a minute ago. All right. And I think he has an ability to use motion and cheat motion to create explosive plays. I really like jet sweeps in the game plan. I like outside zone concepts in the game plan. I like end arounds in the game plan. Georgia walks away with this football game midway through the second quarter, midway through the third quarter. I think the fourth quarter is snooze fest. I think the first quarter is snooze fest. My prediction, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, 34-17, Georgia wins.
Wow. I don't think we could have had a more similar map out for this. I basically said exactly what you are. This is going to be a very defensive struggle the first quarter of the game. Like, it's going to be two offenses feeling each other out against two defenses that have very good front sevens. Neither team's going to be able to get a lot of traction. You're probably going to have a turnover somewhere in there. Second quarter will kind of pick up a little bit offensively. It'll be a tight game going into halftime. I've said that. I think third quarter, midway through the third quarter is when things start happening for Georgia. They're a more physical team. I think that they're going to lean on Clemson. They're faster than Clemson. That's going to start to catch up with them. I had Georgia winning this game 35-17. With it being a one-score game at the half. So you and I had basically identical map outs.
I do. I like you. I see at some point in this football game, Clemson leading like 10-7. Mm-hmm. And then after that, just...
There's going to be some point when Georgia fans, the casual Georgia fan looks at each other and goes, I thought we were supposed to beat the shit out of this team.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to start freaking out, and then it's going to be fire this person, bench him, what are we doing, yada, 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 and then it'll be all right.
I have a similar score prediction, but I don't exactly see it playing out the way that you guys are. I'm sticking with my original prediction. I think Georgia is going to come out of the gate scoring the first possession. And I think that they maintain control of the football game from that point on, but it's kind of just a slow build. It's not like Georgia just scoring points on points on points. I think that this game is going to be somewhere around the 17-6 range at halftime. I think Clemson marches the ball down the field a little bit, stalls out in the red zone, kicks 2 field goals because you got to take points. And then I think that it's just Georgia's speed on both sides of the football and their depth in the second half. I think Riley dials up a couple of nice drives in the second half. I think he's going to get them on, continue to get them in scoring positions. But I think they're going to run out of room. I think they're going to run out of time too to just continue to build up points to catch up with Georgia. So I think it's a slow death for Clemson. But I think Carson Beck also gets dialed in the second half. I think any of the shakiness in this offense and any issues that they do have in the first half, I think that's all ironed out in the second half. I have a final score of Georgia 31-16.
So we're all in the cover range?
Yeah.
I had them by 17. You had them by 18. 15. You had them by 18.
Yeah.
And we're all like right around 34.
Yeah.
Around 18.
I don't think you're going to hit the 40 mark on this team, especially in your first game of the season. We're going to be feeling things out. Like, don't expect Georgia to come out here and do what they did against Oregon in 2022.
I got a competitive first, explosives in the second, and to start the third, and then squat on it.
I think there's going to be some play in the third quarter where you go, okay, this is where Georgia kind of takes over, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a special teams play, whether it's an explosive on offense that you see, and then it's like, okay, you can feel the momentum changing here.
Intriguing to see that no one mentioned a Cade Klubnik turnover in the red zone in the mapping out of this football game.
Yeah, he did that a lot last year.
He cleaned some of this up? Would you say more likely Cade Klubnik goes turnover free or he has multiple?
It's more likely that he probably have multiple than turnover free. I don't think he's going to be as bad in the red zone as he was last year. Some of those plays last year were just like, oh, you just dropped the football. Like, it wasn't even you made a bad decision. Oh, the snap just went by you. Like, things like that. It was almost fluky how much they turned the ball over in the red zone last year.
Chat's apparently taking stabs at guesses of my weight at this point right now.
Trying to be like you.
Huh?
They're trying to be you.
Yeah, something like that. 242 this morning. We're not quite yet sub 240, but we're getting there. It's a slow climb.
That's good. Attaboy.
Yeah. Oh. I like to map out.
If all else fails, you'd be a hell of a carnival
I was trying
attraction.
to find
hell of a carnival attraction.
Yeah, if this all fails.
Yeah.
I was trying to find Cade Klubnik's red zone stats last year.
They were not great.
No, they weren't. They were notoriously bad in the red zone. I remember
he's minus 200 for a turnover in Vegas right now.
Wow.
Makes sense.
He didn't throw an interception in the red zone, according to this.
Yeah, it was all fumbles, I remember.
It was all fumbles?
It was all fumbles.
It was like,
he threw for 277 yards, 14 touchdowns in the red zone, no interceptions, completed almost 70% of his balls, 68.9.
That's why I say it was almost fluky. There was a game last year, I think it might have been Duke. They had like 3 red zone turnovers, and they were all fumbled snaps.
No, it was Florida State.
It was some. It was.
They had a fumble return for a touchdown against Florida State.
It might have been that. It was some ACC game where it was like, this almost never happened.
Remember at one point Dabo last year said he was 3 plays away from an undefeated season?
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Holy shit.
Those were good times. Did you forget about that?
Yeah.
There were some crazy storylines that I forgot about, like the fact that Michigan got caught week 7. For some reason, my brain was telling me week 3. I don't know what was going on there. But anyways, there's some things I forgot about.